Hi everyone. I'm waiting for Order to come on, and he's running a little bit late, so shouldn't be too much longer, hopefully. I'm going to be looking at doing something interesting tonight. I thought I'd start by, well, since we're waiting on a guest to come along, as well as Order. And you'll have to forgive me. Oh, there he is. I did call you. Okay. Let me do that again. Okay, so sending that invite. Hello, Liz. Hello, Albert. And who else have we got on here? Liz and Albert. All right, so I'm just waiting for Order to come through. Earth to Order. We've got 9 viewers on. And yeah, as I was saying, and I'm a little bit out of breath because I've been doing some readings, and I also did a bit of I.T.C work tonight, which I thought I might demonstrate, if anyone is interested, that is, how I do I.T.C using just a simple cup. So it's not a big bowl or anything like that. It's just one of these. Everyone has one in their home, and you can actually use them to communicate, so you can do I.T.C work. So hopefully, what have we got here? Have we got any? Oh, we've got a new person. Hello, Vantazia Star Mulsov. That's a very interesting name. I'd actually be interested to know what made everyone choose their unique names. There's got to be something behind it. And hello, Michelle Woods. Where are you? Where are you, Riley? Okay, let me just send another invite. Here we go. Sending again. All right. So I guess I can't do anything until I know who's going to be on. So waiting. It's been really crazy weather. The rain is phenomenal in Sydney. It's like a downpour. Even my dog won't go out and do woo-woo because of the rain. I'm not going out. You go out there and do it. So I'm having a bit of a argument with my dog at the moment. It's a naughty boy, very naughty. And now he's licking himself. Gee, why? Anyway, so I'm waiting like a shag on the rock. Try again. I'll try again. Here we go. We'll try again. It's gone. Tipping it with rain here. Yes. Oh, it's been sunny in Melbourne. Well, aren't you lucky? I did it. I sent the invite. Waiting. Have you blocked me? Who is this? Yep. Just bear with me. my stuff. Okay. Still waiting. I'm so sorry for those people. Okay, so sorry for those people that are watching this after the live stream. Okay, Tap's feet. Yeah, I have sent it. You're just ignoring me. We'll do it again. I will send it again. Here we go. Oh, the joy of technology. Don't you just love it? You know, it makes me wonder how we lived without technology. What was it, 10, 15 years ago? Was it 10, 15 years ago? Something like that, you know, like having a computer in everyone's home, having live streams, all that kind of crap. Hello, where are you? What is going on? Okay, he's not being able to connect to live. How can you figure it out? Seriously. What the heck is going on here? Oh well, maybe I have to do like I have to play myself tonight and order of magnitude. Hello, he's here. Yay!
Hey, I'm here.
Hello, where are you? Hang on. I can't even hear you.
In the bed. You can't hear me? You can't
I
hear
can
me.
hear you now.
You can't hear me. Okay. Right. Well, I take it Ryan is not here. Oh bugger, I thought my phone.
No.
Oh.
But then it took you a while to no. I'll probably send another. I'll send another invite to him. It's a pity we can't attach an alarm or something, and that way, if he's asleep, it'll wake him up.
I spoke to about
okay, let's give it a.
Literally, he's like, "Yep, I've set my alarm." He says, "I'll be there. I'll be there." Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, unless High Priestess has a migraine or something, we'll see you then. All good. And then like, he's like, I bet minced out, and he'll wake up and we'll go, oh.
Oh, what do you blame him? What time is it? A ridiculous hour in the morning.
About 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
4.
Who wants to be on live then? You've got to be crazy.
No,
okay. I actually thought. Sorry.
I said some flirters get up at 4 to watch us, so careful.
Sorry, my dog.
Is that a cat or a dog? Dog.
No.
I'm gonna kill my cat. My cat took a you know, something horrible in my bath and I had to clean it up. I come back, I was like, and I'm following it to the bathroom, like, bad kitty, rubbed his nose now, you naughty kitty. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yuck. It's all right.
I know.
Yeah, make some noise.
I know. It's quite clever because if you think about it, right? Okay, he can open doors. He's one of those cats that can jump up and open doors, so he's quite clever. Yeah. And he scratches the oven when he wants food. Food comes from the oven. He's thought humans, they get clean in the bath. If I do my bit, that'll go down the plug hole. That's why he's done it there, as opposed to under my bed or somewhere horrible. So I do get his logical thinking because I wasn't able to let him out. But ooh, naughty kitty! I don't like cleaning up stuff. I just let talk about that anymore. I was just someone talked about their cat, and I heard the word
Well,
cat, and I just like triggered.
yeah, we have one here still, and he does that, but he like hovers over the drain when he comes in, and he could be out all day long, and then he'll come in and he'll want to do it inside.
Yeah, sounds about right. Like,
But my dog, he's like, I'm saying, go and do woo woo. And he was like looking outside, it was raining, and he's like, nah. So he about faces and runs inside. Oh, they're funny.
Is it raining where you are, is it?
It's raining,
Is it raining
really
where you are?
bad. Yeah. And the grass is growing like crazy. So it's like you mow the lawn, the humidity is the worst because you've got about 90% humidity here. So it's it's horrible. It's really humid. So yeah, it's awful weather. I mean, I don't mind when it's cool, but I don't like it cold, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I like it sort of in between. So I was
me too.
Thinking about doing probably an I.T.C, a water I.T.C thing tonight, you know, like in case we don't have our mystery guest.
Yeah.
Who is no longer a mystery.
Yeah. No worries.
Because a lot of people, they've been watching all these, you know, demonstrations of how to do I.T.C, and I really think they just should use a really simple method. Like we've got a simple cup, you know, just a normal cup is all you need. As long as it can hold water and you can zoom in on the water and you don't have the light source directly over the top of it, you should be able to actually get some, you know, visual. So I do have one that I prepared earlier. Let me just bring up, where is it? Okay. So I actually put it up on the Truth Seekers Exige page. I'll show you what this one looks like.
That's quite a new post.
Yeah, if it
about 4 in the morning, but...
Where is it? This is so crazy, this stupid thing.
Everyone's getting into the water I.T.C thing. I mean, I will admit, I've never tried it, and I'm not skeptical. That's not really the right word. They're very... Stop ringing me. Hang on a minute, Karen. I'm going to go offline, and then I'll come back in. 2 secs. I've got a phone call from mid-doc. 2 secs.
Okay, so I'll show you anyway, if I can bring up that application. Here it is. All right, so here we've actually got the nose. We've got a very unusual moustache. You can see the lips there. You can see the eyebrows and the brow, and he's even got wrinkles on his forehead. But check out this. That's like an ear. Almost like, I don't know what type of being or whatever you would call it, but there's like a indentation on the top of the head. But you can actually see the clear reference of a beard, moustache, the sunken in area like underneath the eyes and everything, and the eyebrows and the heavy set eyes. So if you can see that, hopefully, because I'm not sure whether it's turning up on this screen or not. Okay, so it should be there. But this just gives you an idea of what can come through on the water I.T.C. And this was just using a simple cup. But what I want to do is take you through the steps on how I have the images bring out that more. So instead of just having a normal color photo, I then will trim that area, which is what I've done. I've zoomed in. Well, I haven't zoomed in. I've actually just increased or enlarged the size because I've cropped that particular part where the face came through. And I actually said, if there's any spirits present today among us, please show yourself. Now, if you also have a look, over here is another face over in this corner here. So there's the eye, there's the nose, there's the lips, and here is the head. Now, they sort of look very demonic, if you want to put it that way. But one thing I've actually found is there are spirits that, I mean, when they're trying to form, okay, hang on, got to invite him again. When they're trying to form, they begin to look really unusual. They just manifest in a different way. Now, remember, this is I.T.C. A lot of things with I.T.C can also be pareidolia. So you've got to be aware of that. So it's really important to make sure that when you're doing this, you're not looking for just anything. You're looking for specifics. So, okay, what is going on? Okay, so I'll just stop that presentation, go back and try to get order back. Why is this happening? Okay, I've sent you another invite, so you should get that. So everyone saw the face. What is this? I'm getting all these little messages popping out the side of the screen saying, you know, things that have gone up on YouTube. This is that Windows 10 thing. So, okay, where are we? Another invite. You know why? Because I'm sending the invites to Ryan. I've got to go back and select, copy, and paste. Thank God for copy and paste. Waiting. What's going in Google? Here he is.
Yeah, don't you love it when someone else makes a mistake and they make it out to be your fault and you have to rally around?
Of course.
I did see the information with the water I.T.C. I'm glad you're doing this, actually, because so many people are taking this water I.T.C up, and the difference between pareidolia and something there. I admit I haven't really tried it myself yet, and I'm very skeptical of it, but not because of it can't work for somebody else, but for me, I don't know if it would work for me, if that makes sense. Because
well, this is the thing. I mean, when I did that I.T.C session, if I was like anybody, I could make pictures out of anything. But I look for specifics. It has to be like a actual, you know, you can't dismiss it. It's a face, it's standing out, it's presenting itself. So I don't know whether you saw that image that I just put up. Did you get to see it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get to see it, yes.
You could see straight away the face. And I mean, you can't. I mean, anything that's pareidolia, I mean, how can it just form complete the nose, the mouth, the moustache, the beard, the heavy-set eyes, and what look like funny ears, almost animal-like. So that was what I found was very interesting, because
one of those weird like the horse's hooves, the goat's head, the ram's.
Yeah. I mean, I could turn that into, oh, I had a demon here. But I mean, I've got a dog. He's not growling. He was growling because my daughter was at the front door and she was coming in. So of course he's, you know, I'm in control of this house type of thing. But he wasn't growling. So, you know, this business about, you know, the pets growling around demons or whatever. I mean, if someone saw that and didn't know, they would say, oh, that's a demon. You've got a demon. And there's so many people who jump on the bandwagon. I sit there actually laughing at some of the mediums. I mean, I shouldn't, but I can't help myself. I see them and I just want to reach through the screen and get their little scrawny necks and tell them, wake up to yourself, because they put the fear of God in people. I mean, seriously, they say, oh, you've got an attachment to you. You've got an evil entity around, you know, this type of thing. Your children are in danger. All this crap. I mean, yeah, you can have negative spirits, but the real number of homes or people that are going to experience a demonic attack are very minimal. Very minimal.
I get that word a lot in my sessions. I always encourage it almost, demon or devil, but nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
Nothing. Really. One really bad something. That's once in like, well, the total years of 13 years in total. I'm not talking about just my era of what I had here. I'm on about the whole entire time I've lived in this house, doing the YouTube channel as well. You know, every other session is devil, demon. Oh, it gets boring after a while. Dead. Yeah, you're dead.
As you pointed out then, you look for that. It's like you're asking them to say these things because you've still got an element of doubt, which means that you're looking for some validation that this is not something they're going to say on radio. So with that,
that's right.
That's going to break you apart from knowing what's pareidolia and what's fair income. So that's understandable, and that's why you will get it a lot. And many people out there who do get that a lot, you've got to ask yourself, are you borderline skeptic? Do you need something solid and concrete as proof to say, yes, there is another world interacting with you? Because usually you'll find that those people who are either looking for those keywords will hear them more prominently than a person who just knows that there is another realm.
It's weird. I know because I've had so many experiences. So why I do it, maybe it's because I'm not so clued up on still, because I haven't been doing a spirit box that long, only 6 months or something. And for the first 2 months, I didn't get anything at the start. I thought it'd be a doddle. I get it because of what I've had here. All right, there's a 2-year gap of anything happening, but I thought, oh yeah, you know, I'll get this spirit box, and you know, Charlie will come running back on command, and he's gonna freaking, you know, be a mortis, a wizard, and say all sorts of crazy things to me, and okay, nothing's happening. Okay. And my only first response came when I discovered that magnitude mode thing. They kept saying over and over. I don't just mean, when I say over and over, I mean literally every transmission. Adam and Ian, over and over again. Ian, Adam. Even response. If I say, so are you okay? Ian, Adam. There's like a tone of voice for yes and no. It's like they're stuck on those 2 words or something. It's very, very peculiar. You know, so yeah, I do. You know, I'm not skeptic in terms of I know something else exists. Of course it does, but yeah, in terms of deciphering between the radio and the other world, yeah, I do look for those keywords heavily. I don't know if that's just a case of me getting slimy thirtless off my backside. And why do I have to play up to them? I don't know. Or should I be doing this for the skeptic? Should I be doing this for myself? I already know. I've got the answers. So why? I've got the damn photo, if you like. We've got the T-shirt. So why do I still, you know, want that notion of, oh, say dead, say help me, say devil, you know, those cliche words over and over again. Jump through hoops for me, please, you know, just to validate yourself there, you know. So I don't know why I do that, but yeah, you're right, you're bingo, you know.
So again, it is a form of proving to yourself, and it's okay to be cautious, to be a little hesitant in what you're getting, because with I.T.C, any type of I.T.C work, it is something that is already running through a process of manipulation. And this is, you've got an active radio station being swept, you know, many of them. So you're going to have talkback, you're going to have commercials, you're going to have songs, you're going to have words that come out that, you know, are going to connect with certain things in your life. And
your question, you know,
exactly.
They say yes. It was like yes from the spirit. It was like yes because yes with me today is such and such on Radio 4.
Exactly. So, now you saw what I put up about the white noise. Now the white noise was actually using in the middle of, you know, when you manually turn on a radio and you've got that noise.
I like to try my Bang & Olufsen. I really would like to try my Bang & Olufsen. Carry on.
So if you have that running, that can also be a form of where they can use their own voice to come through. And I proved that. I put it up. I actually showed it on our, what's it called? Truth Seekers Exige thing. What? Forgot the name. So that was what I felt was important to show people that, okay, you don't always have to have it sweeping. The sweep is
That's
only.
what you used to do before, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's what you used to do before. You know,
the sweep is very common because that's a part of what causes a spirit box. But that was just using a standard radio, not on any station. It was in the white noise part, which meant they had control. Now you talk about Huff and his apps.
Yeah, I do. Was it AM, FM, another band? Just out of curiosity, what band was it? Can you remember?
It was actually just any area of the radio that had no voice. It was just that staticky white noise. So there was nothing like, I mean, you can put it on FM, you can put it on AM. I feel that AM gives a lot more white noise opportunity than FM, to be honest.
Yeah.
So you've got that raw, you've got that raw white noise there. And it's sitting like, you can have, but don't have the stations too close together. If you've got like one station and then you turn it and you've got like the sound coming through very silently of the other one, go further, go past that so that you've got a big gap. And believe me, they can actually use that if they are going to communicate. And that's what I thought, okay, this is really important because I want to prove whilst they're around, I want to record them talking and using that white noise, because by doing that, I'm throwing out the obvious, okay, you need an app, you need a spirit box. Many people spend thousands of dollars on spirit boxes. You think about the amount of money that is invested in these things, which are only a little tiny wire circuit that's been bent. And they charge you a mozza. You could get a $20 radio and make a profit of over 80% on it because you've done that. So this is why I thought, okay, I'm a very practical kind of person, or a practical kind of medium, if you want to put it that way. I'm not going to give airs and graces over anything. Even with the I.T.C, as I mentioned, I don't use big bowls with mirrors in them and stuff like that. You know, I don't invest in anything but a $4 or $5 cup, which I can use later for drinking coffee out of. So it's just a normal cup, and it's not black. It's got a white interior. It's just a matter of having the light off to the side so that it only catches the light when the water is in motion. And that's what people, you know, like if you learn that technique, you'll be able to connect it a little bit better. And I mean, there are some people who feel it's okay to just sort of like shake the outside of the cup or the bowl or whatever they use. I personally like connection with the water. So I will dip my finger in the water and make a bit of a Morse code kind of effect. I'll go tap, 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 swish, swish, tap, 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 swish, swish. And as I'm doing that, it's like a rhythm. I will then say, any spirit present, please reveal yourself by showing your face to me. And
so you talk.
Then we'll be able to get a photo of you. So it's like, you know, would you like your photo taken? Feel free to step forward and use that. And they do. They will come forward. But not every time. There are times where, to be honest, I've done that. And as I said, I could have used anything and said, oh, yes, that's a face, that's a figure, whatever. But if it's not jumping out at me like that is clearly an obvious face or a figure, I won't use it because that is pareidolia.
So it's similar to a spirit box session in its own right. Then you're actually saying, you know, is anybody here? You know, I'm doing this way. You can manifest possibly by doing, you know, through the water, connect through me with my fingertips, even if you like. But you're actually doing a session in effect, because this is another thing else, because I never tried it myself. I mean, I thought, do people just swish the water and then take a picture, or do they meditate before, or what do they do? So I'm
No.
quite glad you sort of said it's just similar to another session via the box, but this time you're using water in this case.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Now we've got a few messages in the chat room. I'm just going to give some shout outs. Cassandra Walton, thank you for being present. So she's been hit, scratched, and choked. Fortunately, I've never had that. So
I've been scratched, but not choked, I don't think. Yeah, my wife and my kid have received that a bit odd, but yeah, other than that, I ain't scratched.
Look, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Don't get me wrong. I've never said no, it doesn't happen. But the amount of that happening, you know, worldwide is very minimal. In places where there's a lot of voodooism, occults, you know, people who practice black magic, that kind of thing, they will get a heightened energy of that type of connection. Or if you're in a home where people have practiced that, there may be a strong element attached to the home itself. So you can have that, but it's very, very rare. It is really rare, but it can happen. I fortunately have never had that happen. I've had one touch me, and they actually touched my chest here, and because of the electricity, it's like an electric shock kind of thing. It hurt because they touched me here. And I said, who touched me? And they said, we did, you know, and this was out at a cemetery one night when I was actually, that one where I enhanced the audio and we've got the dress going past, you know, with the camera on the ground. And if you ever
With the bench.
Yeah, they touched my chest, and it was like I got winded, but I wasn't scratched. I didn't have any burn mark on me or anything like that. So I mean, look, as I said, that can happen, but I really do feel like I'm protected in some way. I've had ones where they've, like the arsehole spirits, they've made threats. You know, we're going to do this and we're going to do that to you, but nothing happens. The idle threats, you know, I'm sure they could, you know, if they really wanted to, or if I had no protection, who knows?
Showing fear is probably not a good thing to do. If you let it intimidate you, it's probably easier to get at you. Like I said, the only attack that we've had, it was a bad one, don't get me wrong, but she was asleep. Do you know what I mean? She wasn't awake, so it was an unconscious, and it was just forced more unconscious, if that makes sense. But I know, I mean, because a lot of people said, oh, you know, on my channel when I hear devil demon, whatever, oh, do you not get scared by that? No, it's just words, you know. If they say I'm going to get you and murder you, maybe I might sort of raise an eyebrow. But you know, I think showing fear is like the worst thing you can do, from what I can gather from this.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
show
right.
fear. What are you going to do?
I mean,
you're not in my realm no more.
That's right. I mean, like if they want to do something, they will do it. But I always have heard either my guide around me or other spirits that have said, don't touch her. I had one the other day. I don't know whether you saw the link that I sent you, and I thought, oh, great.
The hospital. No,
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
It wasn't about in hospital or some shit.
Yeah.
Was that a threat? Was
die, go to hospital? Or...
I thought they just commented the state of Australia or something.
Yeah, so there you go. And I could I could say, all right, you know, give up, but no, I'm not going to fall for that. But they will say things.
Let's link what we were on about a second ago before I got interrupted by my bloody doctor, where you were on about white noise. Huff advocating no white noise. And obviously, he's been in hospital with heart problems, not a demon attack, but he'll photograph that and use that as a, I don't know what that's about. What do they call it? Publicity. But yeah, you were saying before, you were on about the the advocation of getting rid of the white noise and it's harmful to them. And I've been told that, you know, you don't need white noise. That's just poppycock, right? Or wrong?
Look, we all have white noise. If you hold a microphone next to your body, or just in your hands, if you hold a microphone in your hands, you're going to hear like a hum. And that hum is your energy field. It has its own white noise in it. You can't avoid it. That's why they have programs that, you know, they filter out that stuff, because it's a natural thing. It's a natural part of what goes on around us. We have energy around our bodies, around certain items. If you go up to, say, for an example, an electrical current or something, and you've got like a very sensitive mic, you'll hear it makes that kind of noise, because they all have that white noise. It is a physical impossibility to not have white noise, and part of our vocal is emitting a vibration that is through our voice box, you know, creating sound out of vibration. You know, I just can't understand his logic. I mean, he's got a lot of really weird theories. This business about contacting within 48 hours, rubbish. And also the fact of, you know, eliminate the white noise. It has to have no white noise. I mean, if he was using a device that had no pre-programmed voices in it, and he had real voices coming through, I could say, well, you know what? He's got something here. He's really got something. But he's got pre-programmed voices talking. So it's still doing what a normal spirit box would do. The only difference is it's the same vocal voice all the time. And it's amazing how that SCD1 seemed to sort of disappear into the background, you know, when it was one of the best, you know, it was the best. You know, so everything has gone into the background, you know, and then he's got something else come out. So every time you see him being attacked by a spirit or whatever, expect a new app on its way. Expect some type of device or program. You know, this is his way of prepare yourself for the, you know, the mother load of apps. It's coming. It's coming to a website near you called Huff Paranormal. But anyway, let's get off him. Yes, so in relation to our people, I'm going to say hello to all of our lovely
Sorry for this. I don't have access to the chat room at all because wifey's stolen the other phone, so I cannot read your replies. If I do, you'll lose my camera. So,
well, we don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to give some shout outs. We've got Liz Hall. We have 773 Sky Star. There's a new person. Welcome to the channel. We have ODS/D Shadow Demon. Welcome to the channel. We have our lovely Albert. We have Liz Hall again.
What the hell?
Kaz Hammer. It's hammer time.
That rings a bell, but I can't think. Okay, go
on. Who else have we got here?
Say your name, you got me showing up. Go on. Don't be shy.
Yeah, Scott Preston we have. Because I've said Cassandra. And that's about it in our chat room for this evening. But we've actually got 15 watching. So, yeah. Actually, I saw this stop sign, and underneath it had the stop sign, then it had hammer time. Yeah, it was, oh, you had to be there. It was one of those you had to be there moments.
Those pesky graffiti artists, I don't know.
I know, but how cute was that? Okay, so what I will do is demonstrate how, if you want to do the I.T.C, and hopefully this will work because I've got two cameras set up. I've got the one that's on yours truly, and I've got this one set up over the cup. So what I'm going to do is see if I can switch cameras. Fingers crossed. Yay! Yay! So as you can see, it's mostly dark, but this is a cup. It's nothing special. Well, all my cups are special, but you know, like it's a cup. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lock it on this screen because I want to be able to have a recording of it. So I know that what's going to happen is I can't bring it up on a screen that will share. So I'm going to have to share it here or copy it. Yeah. So what we will do is I'll put I.T.C and okay, so I'm going to hit record. So we're going to start. Now, as you can see, this is just a normal cup and you can't see the light directly over it. So the light is about, I would say 3 to 4 feet away. And I've got it set in monotone, so it's black and white, as you can see. It's not set in color. And that's for a reason, because I don't want anything. What kind of water works best? Tap water, believe it or not. And I use it in a warm. I use like a lukewarm tap water. So I don't use freezing cold water because I think, okay, if they're going to come through and, you know, be respectful, have them something warm. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you my technique of tapping. Now, first of all, I'm going to ask any spirits that are present who wish to show themselves. This will take a snapshot of you in some way by you showing your face through the water method. So I'm just going to tap and I'm going to ask spirit. So as you can see, tap, tap.
I've seen this done.
Tap, tap.
It's the first time I've ever seen this done in real life. I've only seen the results of people, what they post up, but I've never actually seen like how it's meant to be done, so to say.
I do a swish and then tap, tap. Spirit, please come through. Please show yourself. Please show your face on here. I would really appreciate it if you can show everyone how this works. Okay, amazing. That's it. So what I'm going to do now is see if I can bring up that video. This is just a normal cup. So I'm just going to, where are we? I might have to do it on Windows Media and then I will go to that. I'll go to that screen. Yeah, I do it frame by frame. So you only do it for a few seconds. And then from those few seconds.
So I know a lot of people take a camera, they take like a cluster shot, if you like, rather than you know, a whole video. I'd imagine a video would be better, give you more scope because you've got real time, frame by frame, 60 frames or 30 frames a second. You know what I mean? That's a lot of things you can check out. I know a lot of people use high-tech cameras, like, you know, Huff style, very good, you know, Canon or whatever, and then they take cluster shots, you know, the burst shot of like, you know, 5 shots in a row, you know, straight out.
That's it. So here it is. I begin talking, of course, and you're going to see when I start. So just wait a minute. Okay, so here's when I start. And I was just talking about how I do the tapping. And I'm welcoming them.
So it's like an actual almost.
Yeah, it
And
usually takes a few. I mean, I would normally be already in the process, but I was recording a little soon. So I'm just, oh, come on.
Yeah, make your intentions known is what I can gather.
That's right. So just being a little patient.
No worries.
Oh God, when do I start? All right, let's see. Here we go.
Mandela. Yeah, so it wasn't as long.
Now look at that. Over here. I could say that is a face that is in the water. See that? Very easy to say that's a face. Hang on, let me try and enlarge that a bit.
This is a skill, isn't it? Decide between pareidolia and what is believed to be the genuine article, which is the art of spirit boxing as well. It's very hard, actually. It's not the easiest thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
But as you can
like
see,
I said, I'm getting better at it, but
it's only the parts that are catching the light are what you look at. So it's like a tap, tap, swish, swish, tap, tap, swish, swish.
Morse code.
So I give them an opportunity. If they want to show themselves, I never force them. And I think it's just about here when I begin to really ask them to come through to show themselves.
Make your presence known.
Okay, now if you see here, there's the eye, there's a nose, there's a chin. So see that? It's like the head itself here.
Oh, yeah.
And the
it's
nose.
Like a teddy bear's head, kind of, with the ear at the top. You know what I mean? Is it? You know, I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be facetious or anything, but it looks a bit like. Do you know what I'm saying? And,
but that's not a very good. That's not a very good
it's not good
one. So I would dismiss that. I wouldn't even worry about that. This one I could
teddy
say
bear demons or something.
Yeah, I could say this is one. See the nose, the mouth, the eyes, and the hair. So it's like I'm tapping on their head. But then if you have a look over here, there is dark hair here, and there is like almost a very pointed chin in that area.
That one's a hard one, that one. Okay.
Yeah, so it's one point at a time.
Sure.
This thing, I hate it because I'm using the I don't have a mouse. I'm using the touchpad thing.
Yep. Yeah, they're not the best, are they?
But this is how
at least I can see what the method is now. Because I always wondered, what do I do? Just, you know, swill some water and take a picture and hope for the best. But like I said, it's an actual spirit box session, but without the box, it's just a different
let me just try and
equipment. I suppose the best word.
It is a technique that you've got to work with it. Now here, if you have a look, there look like nostrils. There's like a nose and the two nostrils. So you could say that's a face, but I'm not going to say that because I wouldn't even count that as a face.
It's very distorted, isn't it?
That's right. I want it to be actual. I want to see the face. Like here, you could say there's the nose. I mean, I'm getting a lot of heads appearing on here.
Maybe
pardon the pun.
Is to do that sort of thing.
Well, let's see.
Okay.
But I don't look for unicorns and stuff like that. If I do, then you know I'm on something.
Unicorns. Not come across anyone that does that yet. Okay.
I actually, I don't know who it was. There was some stream.
No names. Be nice.
I'm not saying any names, but I thought, oh, give me a break.
Yeah. Hey, he or she is a brony. What can you say? A brony.
Oh my God.
That's an adult. That's an adult that likes My Little Pony, if anyone needs to know. A brony. Yes, they do exist, before you ask.
Unbelievable. You got to see
Adults
it.
go in there and they buy actual comic books from My Little Pony and colouring in books, and it's for adults, but they get cross because it said it's aimed at kids. Their real target audience is adults. No, My Little Pony is for kids. Okay, end of. So.
I hate this thing.
Yeah, I'll touch Matt. It's all good.
So when you're doing it, look for like things that really, really stand out.
Really
not
defined.
Like, oh, yeah, that sort of looks like a face. I'll go with that. It has to be that the second you look at it, you see it.
As I say to everybody, actually, this is one of my own lines. No evidence or a no-go is so much better than forcing something to come through. I mean, I'm not going to get names of people who do this to their spirit boxes, but I watch quite a few spirit boxes when I can, and I know there's a lot of people waiting for me to watch their video. I get round to them. I promise you, I just get so many people ask me to watch for whatever reason, and a lot of people annotate gobbledygook. Oh yeah, that said such and such. I'm thinking it really didn't. No, I'm not the best at this. I really am not. I'm no E.V.P paranormal science, excuse the pun, but I really am not the best at E.V.Ps and stuff. But it really was not. It was just no transmission. It's just nothing, and it was like anything that comes out of that box is spirit. No, it is not. This is the hard bit. This is where the skill and the practicing and the connection that seems to take time, and I still don't really have a good connection, I have a connection of some description, because quite a lot of my videos I get the usual dead help me and all the rest of it, which is not radio, and it sounds different as well. John Johan, he won't mind me saying his name, he uploaded his first session today, and he went the whole session, he really got nothing until the end, and it was one word. And he asked, did you used to live in my house or something? He says, right, said the spirit. And it sounded so different to the rest of the radio audio. It sounded totally different. It's disembodied almost. I can't really describe it. And you'll get to know when you do spirit box and other stuff, like what is. And I get a lot of people who've gone to my channel and go, oh yeah, you had this and this and you missed. And I sort of go, okay, I'll have a look and have a look. Actually,
now I want to show you something here, Riley. If you remember, like looking at when I started doing this, there's all of a sudden these little white flecks that are starting to appear. Now it's been the same technique, swish, swish, tap, tap, and
splash.
You want,
because that's like a splash. That looks like that. It's very defined, isn't it? Like someone's almost drawn it on
there. But if you look at them, sometimes they can actually form words. I can ask a spirit to write its name on one of these and see the name appear. So there was actually, go back here. I think I went past it again. But if you see that, I mean, nothing in the room has changed. Nothing, no lighting has changed.
No. Sorry for this if I look like
okay, so that could be that bounce there, that bounce of light bouncing across here. So what I look at there is, okay, if I was to flip this screen in this corner, I could say there is a face upside down.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even use that. So when I look at faces, and if you were to look at this in probably like a inverted screen, you might see here is this like a profile, what looks like a profile of a female's face and dark hair around here. But that's going to the extremes. This is what I mean about pareidolia in some of these things. When you've got a defined face and you see it manifest as you're doing this, it's really beginning to appear, then you've got something. But that I wouldn't count as anything that came through then. Even though I could have said, look, there are a lot of heads that look like they're appearing. There's a lot of things that look like, you know.
They could have been trying, but it's not that, you know, genuine article, is it? Well, maybe, you know, there's nobody willing or can participate in this session. Like I keep saying, it's better to have nothing and force something. Going back to the spirit box, how many people do I see where every segment that comes out of that radio is a spirit, and they force it into something with the subtitles? It's like, no.
That's right. I mean, you're going to have things that will come through spirit boxes that are absolutely just radio, nothing else but radio. So don't take everything. Yeah, don't take everything as being spirit, so to speak. So that was, I thought that was probably a good way to demonstrate to people what this I.T.C thing is all about. But just when you're doing it, just look for actuals, look for things that almost look like a photograph. And if you do it in black and white, you've got a better chance of seeing it more clearly than if you were to use color. And that's the point of using the black and white. So hopefully that helps people.
I want to put something out. I don't want people to get timid by this as well, because I know, like on our site, we've got people upload stuff, and someone goes, "Well, I don't see anything." And then people might be like, "Oh," they sort of feel like they've had their confidence knocked. What you might want to do is, I think I found something. I'm not sure. I'm new to this, but this is what I've uploaded. Can you guys see anything? And let me know. You know, and let people have an opinion. That's the whole point of the group. Don't let it knock your confidence if someone says, "I don't see anything," or someone who's well, I say an expert, it's not the right word. Well, someone who's been doing this while and has, you know, had good stuff come out. You know, don't let it knock your confidence.
Keep in mind too,
so much better than
there is sometimes spirit will show themselves only to you, and it's like there are times you'll hear something that no one else will hear, but you'll hear it, and it is undeniable. You will hear it, but no one else will hear it. So yeah, you may be seeing something and there's no denying it, but the other people may not see it because it's not for them. It's not for their eyes. So don't completely dismiss what you see, but don't take every single image as being actual spirit, because you're going to have a lot of pareidolia. It's like looking up at the clouds and making shapes out of them and seeing animals and stuff like that. I used to think as a child that every time I saw an animal cloud, that was a soul of an animal that had left and, you know, turned into a cloud to let their loved ones know. Yeah. I know. But that was, I mean, as a kid, you say and think all these crazy things anyway. But it's not the case. It is cloud, and it's going to create different shapes. It doesn't mean that you've got a spirit that is sitting up there, you know, as big as your city, looking down at you.
Bloody good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see what we've got in our chat room.
Go scan.
All right, so we've got definitely leopard photograph. Okay, I don't know what that is. Let's have a look back at some of these comments.
Someone said leopard photograph. Why does that ring a bell to me?
I don't know. I wish I could actually show that screenshot of the chat room.
Wifey's got phone, so
I wonder if I can.
Unless you don't mind me going to an avatar for a little bit.
Maybe I can.
If you can screen share it.
This.
Rings a bell to me, a leopard photo and something to do with spirit. Why does that ring a bell to me? Someone post something up.
Let's see. Nah, can't. Bummer. I thought I could.
Hold the phones, John. Let's have a look. Now, haven't I? I'll turn this to a picture of Charlie and watermarked over it. Oh, it's my voice. I hate my voice. I can't stand my voice, believe it or not. Okay, we go. Hi guys, Song Haley's Hale, but the Def Leopard photograph. Ah, okay. Nothing to do with what I thought. I just had this.
Oh, Def Leopard. Okay. All right. So we've also got.
Only good looking spirits the eye. Brilliant. Well done, Scott. Yeah.
Okay, we've got Scott Preston. He says, now that TV broadcasts are all digital, you can take an old TV, set it up, use it, or
Yes.
see faces.
Let me show you something, Scott. Now you say this. I got a little. So I want to do this. I have done it briefly on my channel. I've not really got much, but watch this. Like, assuming I've got enough light to show you because my camera is all. Let's go back to you. Okay, can everybody see me kind of, despite my poor lighting? Okay, so ready? Look what I have here.
Ooh.
Right. So, we have the TV, and we have no analog signal no more, as said, but if we tune it, something tries to come through. I don't know what it is. I've had it before. Manual tune. Now, I'll turn it off for the next very loud noisy, but I've also got, I've actually got to repair it because the speaker, I just saw it's from 1968, probably can't see it because of poor lighting. I've got a Bang & Olufsen amplifier down there from 68, and that has radio in terms of manual tune. There's no muting on it. It doesn't mute for white noise, but it has K, M, L, FM, and AM. It's a lot of bands to listen to. There's a lot of it is man-made. There's a lot of really, really weird noises. I have gone through it before, so I'll do a video on that maybe. Paranormal, strange noise, kind of interesting to listen to. Could be paranormal, probably not. It probably just repeats or something, you know, for computers and whatnot. But if spirit can manipulate that in some way or form, it's another avenue to explore. But there you go. Let's have a look at chat room again and see if Scott Preston approves or disapproves, maybe.
I think you've got to have like a feedback using a video camera or a recorder. Do a live feedback kind of thing.
Yeah, you can do that as well. That's even with digitals or anything. Basically, you get a video camera that records itself, if that makes sense. You have a viewfinder and you loop it and it goes all weird and haywire and you get all sorts of interesting things. Mortis has done a few sessions with it and he got some quite interesting results, but it's not easy as you think it is. It's quite tricky.
And there's another one too. If you get and I saw this with the group, what's it called? I'm trying to think of their name. It's gone, the name. But what they did is they set up a mirror so that the camera was pointed directly at one mirror and it bounced off another mirror. And it was just feeding back from what was in that camera, and they zoomed in so that all they caught was like the feed directly back into the camera itself. So that's something that you could try as well. I haven't tried a lot of these things, so I need to. But I mean, try it. What's it gonna hurt? Just ask your spirit.
You guys lose your time. That's what you're gonna lose.
Ask your spirit guides for help. That's all I can say.
I have no idea who mine is, actually. I never asked. I've got no idea who my spirit guide is. Yeah, never asked. Never.
You
I don't know why.
should.
Maybe I should.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And another thing, I think I mentioned before, we were talking once about, oh, gee, he has actually gone to sleep.
Who?
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Has he woken up or something? Is he here?
Bob Hope's brother, no Hope. All right. So, only joking. There is another method of I.T.C, and it's actually using crystals. So I don't know whether you can see this one that clear. I'll just try and hold it there. This crystal, if you put like a light source going on one direction through it, and you record and you zoom in with the camera, you can actually ask for it to show its face. And I've caught some faces in crystals. I think it was mainly in this one. And that one. Big cluster.
Nice surface area, because I haven't got anything that wide. You know, the wide.
You could use that. You could use that. So
is this as a light? So I don't know if it's all. That's really useful.
You can use that kind of light, whatever's easiest. But I would recommend get a light that is like a fluorescent type of light, and put that on one side. So you're not directly having it against the crystal. You're sort of bouncing it onto the crystal, and on the other side, you're moving the camera around, asking spirit to show themselves. And then you'll have an opportunity of having a look. When you zoom in, you'll see faces. So it is, yeah, I've caught face. I'll see if I can grab one of those just to show you what it looks like.
I've got the laser pen as well. I wonder if you take off the hang on, I'll show you what I mean. Oh, come here, you, Mr. Laser Pen, which is, yeah, quite a few things on it, not much, but the typical laser pen with a grid. If you undo it,
yeah,
don't point it. If you maybe with the crystal,
definitely.
it's certainly reflecting around the room. So I wonder if good enough camera, high enough resolution, might pick up anything, that sort of thing. I know Kevin Hines likes to do smoke and laser I.T.C. You know, he blows a load of smoke over the laser, and
yeah, you can do that.
Always toys, eh?
Hang on a second. Oh, I'll show you this. This is an I.T.C device, like a water I.T.C. But I just want to show you this because I think it will help you to understand where is it here? Is it showing? Don't you hate it? Right, well, I'm going to have to save it.
Okay.
No. Desktop.
We've got half hour thereabouts.
All right, I'll be really, really quick.
So I've got half
All
hour.
right, so let's see. I'll see if I can get that on the screen. Where is it? Just doesn't like me. This Google thing doesn't like me.
Google's a pain in the ass. I don't get that.
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
It's because Google doesn't give me a message. I have to actually go to a video and go, oh my god, someone replies me about 6 times here.
Yeah.
Why you ask? Don't blame me, blame Google.
All right, so this should be working. There we go. Now, have a look here. And you'll see the face, and it's got some stuff coming out of its mouth. But look here in the background.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, there's a female's face, and this was an I.T.C. Actually, come to think of it, I think that was crystal. A crystal.
Yeah, it looks
method.
Reflective.
Yeah. But you can actually see there's one head here with the dark hair, and then you've got like the face here. So that is a good indication of, you know, how that works. But I'll show you this other one. It's just incredible, and it's using the crystal as a form of I.T.C. So I'll just go back to my screen and bring up the, oh gosh, where is it? Crystal. Where are you? I think it might be in here.
Furthest, I'll be going up to the cemetery on Saturday. The weather isn't bad, but I'll be taking my dog with me, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So we'll see how that goes with all those full spec camera and little lantern and all the rest of it. So no naked guys running about. I'll be able to see him, and the dog will bite his tackle. So I thought it was just a crazy rumor, but no, it's true. There was a guy running around naked there. They named who he was. I was like, okay.
All right, check out this. Where is it? Now you're going to see this straight away because it was a female that agreed to show herself, and this is in the crystal. Check it out.
It is a crystal. It is not a crystal.
That's a crystal. You can see the hair and the eyes, and I've actually over here traced the same image.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Oh, that's a good one.
See his crooked nose and his hair.
Very deep.
Yeah, very old looking. Here's another one that I thought looks very alien. And as you can see, the actual rainbow from the crystal coming through.
That one's a harder one for me to see.
That one? Yeah. So here, this is like the head. There's
I got it.
The nose.
I got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the neck.
I got it.
Cool, isn't it? So that's using a crystal. And we've seen that one. Now this is the original one that I did earlier tonight. So what I actually did here, I took it into Photoshop and I used what is called the plastic effect to bring out more of the detail of that face. So you can use the plastic tool so that it sort of gives like the layer, it brings out the density of it so you can actually see more detail. So that's a little trick of showing more of the detail there. But that's the first time I've actually used the plastic tool, but I think I might try, you know, that on several images and see how I go. But over here, you can actually see another face in the corner.
Yeah.
So there, see the eye and the nose. Looks angry. Yeah, looks pretty angry. But this was the one I was wanting to show because of, you know, his deep set eyes and his nose and lips and the weird beard or moustache. And then you've got like what looks like an ear, and he's even got like the wrinkles there on his forehead. So, yeah, fascinating.
Beast. Mythical beast.
So there you go. Isn't it fun? And if anyone, and look, I'm happy to help anyone who wants some tips on how to do these I.T.C things. Don't feel like you're annoying me. I will respond when I've got time, of course. You know, ask me any questions. If anything doesn't make sense, yep. If anything doesn't make sense, I'll try and give you a simple instruction, like I'm talking to a 3-year-old, because sometimes people don't get it, and it's not being insulting, but you know, even I've said, explain to me like I'm a 3-year-old. You know, if I don't understand something, then I'll ask. And I think it's important to ask questions if you're really interested, But, you know, if you're just going to waste my time, don't. But I'm happy to help if you're really wanting to connect with spirit and get this down pat. You've got to do a process of elimination. You can't just take every image as being spirit. You know, as much as you might think, oh, this is wonderful, there's going to be ones that are really hard to decipher, and those ones are not worth keeping. So that's where you have to do a little bit of, okay, if I can see it and it's standing out like a sore thumb, others are going to be able to see it. But if I have to, yeah, that's a nose and yeah, that's an eye, then don't bother. That would be my advice. So let's have a look at some of these questions, if there are any. What about crystals or semi-precious stones underwater? Well, I really don't see the point in putting them in the water. It's like people putting mirrors in the water to do I.T.C. You're going to get a lot of reflection from you being projected on that mirror and so on. I personally would just use water. Don't complicate it. If you complicate it, it's going to be a lot more of a, it's just like too much. Yeah, keep it simple, stupid.
Be like the huff of the water I.T.C, you know, it gets complex and complex, always damn pedals and wires and the simple sweeping radio, you know.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
And reverse speech and all this. I mean, why make them jump through hoops, man?
Well, that's funny because I actually spoke to Chris about reverse speech, and he said, I don't talk backwards, so why would you reverse my speech? He said, why don't you record something you're saying and then play it backwards and see how it sounds? And he had a point. You know, I thought, oh, you know, because there was one time I thought, okay, well, this, you know, I actually reversed one of the E.V.Ps that came through, and it sounded like completely different. And he said to me, we don't talk backwards. And I went, okay, so what's the point in reversing? And he said, there's no point. What you hear is what you hear. No one's going to talk backwards to you. And it's like he said with the mood rings, you know, the color doesn't mean that we are, you know, angry or we're violent or anything. He said it's not a mood ring. So
this is it. A lot of people said to me with Charlie, the picture, oh my God, he's a shadow. I mean, you know, you're under attack. You know, I said, look, he was with us for well, my wife a decade, me 8 years. Only once did he sort of get mad and smash a vodka bottle, but no one was there. No one got harmed. Do you know what I mean? And okay, I was put under sleep paralysis, but he didn't harm me. I asked a daft question, that was all. But you know, in those years, he had plenty of opportunity to you know, ruin us, if that makes sense, and it never happened. So you know, what was it? A long game plan? I don't concede to notion all shadow people, had people are evil, but are there to just ruin your life.
They're not. I've seen Chris appear like a shadow person, and my daughter's seen him, you know, and she said one night there, because we were in my room and she was lying down, she was, you know, telling me a story, something at school or whatever, and next minute there was like this shadow that went across the wall. And there was no reason for the shadow to be there. So you rule out all logic. And I say to her, okay, what do you think it was? You know, and she said, well, it couldn't have been you because you didn't have the lamp on and you didn't have this on. So, I mean, this is teaching a 9-year-old to analyze and figure out for herself what she thinks things are before jumping to conclusions. And then I said, okay, Chris, is that you? And we heard hi really clearly. So that was him. I didn't see the shadow, but she saw it, and he has appeared as a shadow.
Wifey has also seen human-like form, and she says he's quite tall and very proud and, you know, up straight. He's tall, like for her a little bit, but so does that mean he's got two? So he can't be a complete shadow person, whatever one of those is. You know, all shadow people call sleep paralysis. They're like some weird entity that goes around in people's sleep patterns or something. But you know, like I say, I never saw him in that light. I've only seen him as the picture, and even though I didn't see him directly, the photo was taken, and then it appeared on the screen. I was like, oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
But she's seen him as a person, slightly translucent, and the feet weren't appearing. And she thought she was quite lucky to see it. But he wasn't shadow then. He had defining features, a face, his hair slicked back, proud. I don't remember what else she said about him because I haven't seen it with me. Broad shoulders as well is another thing she said about, she recognised him anyway.
Yeah. There is a question that I'll respond to. It's from Liz Hall, and it's regarding the crystal. She says, do you shine the light behind the crystal or to the side? You can do it. I prefer to the side, which is a really good method because you're not getting the direct light in your face. But remember, if you even use, instead of like moving or panning the camera around, you could get someone to slowly, or you could do it, slowly move that light beam around, like, sort of like you're reeling type of thing. Move that slowly around the crystal as you record, and record only for a few seconds. 30 seconds is plenty, because then you begin to look at each frame by frame. If you have like a 7-minute video, you're going to be there for at least an hour going frame by frame looking for things. Only keep them in short segments of about 30 seconds, 20 seconds tops, because if they're going to come through, they're going to come through in that time. Hello. I've got Spirit over here. All right. Oh, I had a really great visitation through the week I've got to share with you. I was really excited because this male spirit presented himself saying that his name was Angelo, and talking about his family and stuff like that, right? And it was so beautiful, a really beautiful soul. And I thought, well, I've got to share this, so that if his family watching the page or whatever, they're going to see it, and sometimes it may be weeks, it may be months, whatever. And I couldn't believe it. Seriously, within an hour, I had a response saying that was my husband. This woman said that was my husband. And I thought, oh my God, he knew the time for me to put this up. It was like he knew the best time that his loved ones would be online to see that message. I was blown away. I thought, usually I can, well, look at that one that I drew when he visited. I drew him, and it was the 22nd of June last year that I drew this picture of the male with the glasses. And then about 6 months later, this woman writes into the page saying, that looks remarkably like my father, who passed away on the 21st of June, the day before. She sent the photo in of her father, 2 photos, and it is identical, glasses and all. So he visited me knowing that she was on my, my page and everything like that. And he asked me to draw him. So drawing him was probably the best way of getting the attention, but I couldn't believe it. I really could. I'm stoked that this spirit was able to just, I couldn't believe an hour. How you don't credit it. You really don't credit it. But I was so happy for them, because, this woman apparently wanted to hear from him. And then it was like out of the woodwork, I've got all these other relatives of his that are, like his daughters and stuff like that, saying, that they were so happy to hear from him. And one woman said, look, can I give you something? I said, no, I don't want anything. I just passed on the message. I mean, if I was like anyone who was just out for a quick buck, I could have said, oh, yes, okay, well, you can give me a donation of, but it's not the point. It's the fact that I was able to do that it made my day absolutely, hands down. I was blown away. Anyway, rattling on, but I just had to share it because this is how amazing spirit is, and they never cease to amaze me. Honestly, they blow my mind. They really do.
That's
So
beautiful.
yeah, it was. So with that, as I mentioned, Liz, you can use the light on the side to sort of like pan around while you're filming, and then ask spirit, talk to them as you're doing it, tell them what you're doing, tell them why you're doing it, you know, because otherwise no one's gonna, yeah, no one will put, they won't help. But
you go about it with your intentions and make your intentions known, as opposed to just getting a crystal and shining a load of lights and taking pictures. You know, you're talking and making your intention known and what you'd like, and can you do this for me, etc. And the whole point of it, you know, it's like doing a session, but just with different equipment, if that makes sense.
that's, yeah, you've got to let them know, otherwise it defeats the purpose. They could be standing there looking at you like, what's she doing? But yeah, and there's a message, fallen angel Caroline says, my dad's anniversary today and I'm convinced he's trying to communicate with me. And you know what, Caroline, nothing would surprise me. Spirits have ways of getting your attention, and don't dismiss little signs. Sometimes, and this is what I've noticed a few people do, they dismiss things. They're like, oh no, it's my imagination. You're going to have signs, and embrace them. You know, whatever these signs are, they're going to connect with you. So know that that's his way of communicating. If you're feeling that already is telling you that he's trying to reach out to you, and you're feeling his energy. And I also did a live stream the other day with the page, just sharing, if that's okay. And it was basically questions that you've got for spirit or about spirit. And I wanted to keep it to that because so many people have asked me the same similar questions. Like, I used to feel my mother around, now I don't feel her. Has she now moved on? What's the story? You know, is that it? And what it is once they begin to connect with that other side, their energy is less amount, you know, it's less around you here. It's still around you, but it's less. It's more attached to the other realm. So you're still going to have the visitations.
This is what you call crossing,
Yeah,
with
they're
Marcia,
fully behind the veil.
we got nothing, and then the second day she's here but she's confused or something, and then the next day after that we got her actual voice, I hear you dear, which was amazing for my wife, obviously. And the last day, you know, is she here? She's gone or something. Well, she's crossed, just a single word, crossed, and we never heard anything again. But you know, that might be maybe.
I believe from my own experience, they prefer to talk directly to you rather than through these devices. But the fact that she was able to do that says a lot, you know, and that would have been absolutely.
It could be a spirit imitating a facsimile of a voice. I was waiting for her to go, more gravy, dear. You know what I mean? It was a perfect facsimile.
If you think that way, you can also block them. That's where I'm talking about the doubting Thomas. You know, you can have all the evidence in front of you, and if you begin to say, no, that's another spirit mimicking them or whatever, and they're like, well, what's the point? You know, you're not going to acknowledge me, so I'll just let you go. I'll visit, but I won't interact because I don't want you thinking that way. And I don't think she would want you thinking that way. So
actually, the talk, because when we used to go over house and we tell her all the things that happened to this house, she'd look at us like we're freaking crazy. And like, no, we're not attention seekers here. Listen to us. And like I said, on her like last day, when we were saying our goodbyes, she grabbed my hand and she said, "Tell me everything you know." And what it boiled down to in the end was, you know, good luck on your new journey. She's gone on some weird journey, and she was cool. And on her last day of passing, the nurse said she was waiting there flicking for a magazine, and she suddenly just sort of not leapt up out of bed because she can't get it, but she hunched up and she said, "Oh, are you here for to me, and she turns to the nurse with her eyes rolled back in her head. She's, I have to go now. And then she just closed her eyes and went. You know, who's the person who she's seeing? Oh, you're here for me. You know, so she was met by someone or something, according to the nurse. You know, she found it quite eerie and creepy. But, you know, I thought it was kind of nice, but someone greeted her. She let go. You know, she had a lot of pain. You know?
A lot of these spirits that have come to visit me have actually said on occasions they've tried everything to connect with their loved one, and I'm their last hope in the fact that I'm someone that they follow, or they whatever the case might be. And they've come to me and they've said, can you please just let them know that I'm okay, I'm with so-and-so, or I'm, you know, whatever they're doing. And sometimes they've dropped a few things like what their loved one, what they saw them doing. There was one day there, and it was so weird. I had this spirit around me earlier in the morning, and he kept saying, it was so lovely. They actually took that butterfly out of the bucket. They saved the butterfly out of the bucket. And I thought, what a weird thing to say. And anyway, I'm doing a reading, and I thought I heard that male around. And I said, you didn't like get a butterfly out of a bucket or something? She said, no. I went, okay, don't worry. But then he was around for the next reading. And I thought, this is weird. Either he's waiting for someone who he knows is coming through to have a reading with me, or, you know, he's just hanging around giving me like crap, if that makes sense. And each person I asked, and I said, look, I'm just asking because this is what they said. And it was like, it's nothing that you could just say is a common everyday event. Being specific, it's a bucket that they got the butterfly out of, and they saved it. They literally saved this butterfly from drowning. And I thought, okay, so the very last reading I did for the day was a man. And I said, okay, you're the last one I'm going to ask, but did you happen to get a butterfly out of a bucket and save it? And he said, are you shitting me? And I said, no. I said, it was you. And he said, how would anyone know that? He said, I'm a man. I don't save butterflies. He said, but it looked pitiful. And I reached in and I got this butterfly out, and he said, I was trying to give it like a heart massage, if you can do that. And I saved it. And I said, well, this male spirit told me it was so lovely what you did about saving, you know, he didn't say who, but he said what they did, saving the butterfly out of the bucket of water. And he said no one was around. And I said, well, there was. And he said, well, can I ask any questions now? And it was at the end of the reading. I said, yeah, now you can ask. He said, I wanted to hear from my father. And I said, well, I'm not saying this is your father. I said, but who else would say that detail for you? And I said, you're the last cab off the rank, like, you know, of the day. So it was really, and he said, that is just not something you can make up. It's not something that you could say everyone does every single day. And everyone does it, he said, and he laughed, but at the same time, then he started crying, and he said, there's no way you would know. He said, I gave this butterfly heart massage. And the way he was telling me, I smiled and I sort of laughed at the same time, because I could just picture this big burly guy with his with his butterfly pressing and giving it heart massage.
Mouth to mouth, like, you know.
And so who else would have been able to see that but his dad, in my opinion? So that's all he needed as proof that there was, you know, life on the other side, because he said he was alone when he did it. He had no one around him. It's not something that happens every day. And he said, and I would never do that normally. In any normal circumstances, if anyone else was around, I'd let it drown. But yeah, so there you go. Isn't it lovely? So spirit do watch, and they will give you a little bit of a, they don't have to go into full detail. I mean, like that Robert, that time when his wife came to see me, and he said that if she used to complain about the bush that he planted near the back steps, but if it wasn't for that bush, it wouldn't have broke her fall before coming in to see me. And she said, as she was walking out the back steps, she fell and landed in the bush. And she said, it did break my fall. And she said, and that was just when I was on my way to see you. So, and that was her husband. So I said, do you know Robert? And she said, that's my husband. She started crying. So this is, you know, spirit are there. They're there. And it's important to communicate. If you're feeling or thinking of a loved one all of a sudden, usually it's not just a coincidence. Usually it's because they're around, and everyone's psychic. Everyone has psychic ability.
My little girl, when she died, she was only about 2, 3. She didn't really care or register it, but late, over the past half a year, she would randomly come out, start crying. What's wrong? I miss Nanny, or I don't want that. You know, I don't want Nanny in the clouds, or whatever she says. You know, and it's so random. It just comes out of nowhere. There's no build up to it. She'll just suddenly be upset over the fact her nan's died. Yet at the time, I know she was very young, but Camaro had no feeling or care. She even said, like, oh yeah, you know, to you know, oh, your mummy's dead, you know, to her own mum. Obviously she's only 2, 3 at the time, so you know, you don't get upset by it because she's so young. But lately, over the past 6 months, we'll say, maybe a bit more, just randomly, you know, at least once a week, she'll just suddenly stop what she's doing, and you know, she'll be quite upset that she can't see her nanny anymore. You know, she's never going to see her again. That gets to her, you know. So I wonder where, you know, if why that suddenly ping in the brain to think about that. Then she's playing dollies, everything's going well. It's like, oh, you know, it's the most weirdest or randomest of times. You know, it's not like she's building up to it. She's been sad or told off or something. You know, she's perfectly happy doing her thing. Then suddenly, bump, she'll just suddenly stop and what's wrong? Oh, you just miss Nanny. You know, so you know, me too, dearie. But you know, it's very, very strange. So I wonder when you just said that, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, as I said, because we all have ability, everyone's got different levels. It's like a person, you know, some people can draw stick figures when other people can draw full-bodied pictures. Everyone's got the gift, everyone's got the ability, but everyone uses it in a different way. And if you feel that you're suddenly thinking of a loved one or someone who has passed over, and it might be many years that have gone, and out of the blue you just start thinking about this person and you don't have any reason to be thinking of them, it is usually because they're with you. And that's what I find most beautiful. Like, as I said, with my grandfather, it took him 10 years to visit me, probably because he's a stubborn old bugger and he never believed in this. He was very anti, you know.
That's just like us. She don't believe none of it. Like you're crazy talking about, you know, voices out in the air. Just look at us like, no, we're not being funny or anything. I promise you. Only at the end of her life did she, you know, like, okay, tell me everything. Tell me what I need to know. Well, I can't really tell you what you need to know. I can just tell you what, you know, what we've experienced. And, yeah.
But it is, that's how they communicate. And the more that they are on the other side, or the longer that it goes past the years, their energy begins to change. So they're in the beginning, you'll feel a lot of energy around. So it's like you'll almost feel like the air is electric. You'll have this strange, like a, I can't describe it. The only way I can describe it is like the air is electric. So if you've ever had that kind of experience, you know what I'm talking about. But it's definitely like a charged atmosphere. Then you might feel like someone's with you. You might sense at the end of the bed, someone's getting off it, like they're getting up from a seated position, standing, and the bed shakes a little. You might feel someone lying next to you on the bed. You might feel someone touch you. This is usually at times where you're not really thinking of anything. You might be just relaxing. Usually when your body's at its most relaxed, you'll begin to, sense them, or when you're preoccupied with other things. Like I had a time where I was getting something out of the refrigerator and felt someone brush past me. Thinking it was my daughter, I turned around, there was no one there. And I thought, okay, well, obviously I've got someone around me. I one day was washing up at the sink, felt someone tugging at my top, turned around, no one there, thinking it was one of the kids. I look out the window and the kids are still playing in the backyard. And it wasn't long after that there was a situation where I turned. I don't know what made me turn, to be honest with you, because I didn't hear anything. But I turned and I looked in the hallway, and standing there was a little girl who had a very disfigured face, and burns was over her face. And then it would have been probably about 3-4 months later, my eldest ended up in the burns ward because the gas hot water system exploded and caused her burns. And it was so weird being in the home, having this happen. So these little things are, sometimes warnings. Sometimes you'll have spirits around you that are that'll interact with you for a reason. It may have been a warning that I didn't see because of the fact that she didn't talk. She just, would either sob or she would, just stand there. But the kids actually used to say they've got a friend called Sarah. And it's funny, one day my daughter was walking down the hallway holding someone's hand, but I couldn't see them. So I naturally assumed, imaginary friend. So it was showing itself to the child, but not to me, if that makes sense. But they were holding hands. So let's see what else we've got in our chat room, because I know that you've got to go soon. All right, so we've got... we've Anthony, hello. And we've also got Nobody Believes Me Paranormal.
Hello, Ray.
Ray. We've also got Sane.
Hey, Ray, I watched your Popper and Anna Productions round 2 last night. Me and my wife watched it, and man, they called your name a lot, didn't they? Even when you didn't subtitle, they called your name a lot.
Mine?
No, not yours.
What? Ray? God, I was going to say, I've told them never call my name.
Ray and went to a well-known spot, and it was an abandoned building, and they asked for, can you say my name type thing, and he wouldn't stop saying his bloody name basically throughout the whole freaking episode. And a lot of the time they cut a lot of it, they missed it quite a lot. It was quite loud and obvious as well, watching it in bed, quite far away on the tablet, and like they keep saying Ray's name. It's quite funny. So there you go.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
All right, so there's another one from Fallen Angel Caroline, which I missed. He came on an update station. It was an old song. I dreamt about him last night and woke this morning, and it was my first thought. He is 12 hours gone today. Wow, 12 hours. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But I'm glad that you're feeling that he's trying to connect with you. Just acknowledge it. That's what I would do. Just acknowledge him and thank him for being around you. And of course, if there is any way that he can, tell him you're not going to be afraid if he does want to show himself to you. But if you are going to be afraid, of course, don't ask him. Because they do have an opportunity of doing that.
Seriously, when Peter went, he was hit by a train. My wife phoned me up one day saying that she could see his head, just his head manifested. The right height he should be. And bearing in mind she's used to all the weird stuff, that actually freezed her and freaked her out a bit. And she's on the phone talking to me, he's right there. He's not moving, he's just staring at me. And I'm frozen to the spot, I can't move. I know he's not going to harm me or anything, but it is a bit weird, he's dead. And yet we've got a translucent sort of grey kind of, just his head and his neck manifest at the right height. She's on top of the stairs, he's at the bottom just looking up at her for half smile or something. But
I guess to a person who's not used to seeing it, it probably would freak you out.
And she hasn't had that experience. That's what I mean. She's had that experience. It's still, that one made her a bit, okay. That's a bit of an eye-opener, and
caught off guard.
Yeah, she was caught off guard, definitely caught off guard. She wouldn't expect that. And then that was the same time. We had a taxi where we had people not getting in my cab. It was taken by someone, but no one was in my cab. And I'm the last one on the rank. 2 people come up, they're still not getting. I said, why is no one getting in my car? Because there's a man behind you with a khaki baseball cap, apparently. No, there is no one in my cab, I assure you. So yeah, loads of people saw that one. That was weird. So it's about that time. So yeah, strange happenings all around. And it's nice when it's witnessed by other people. I'm not just a crazy one here.
Well, there's a message there also from Carolyn saying, I hope they don't watch all the time. Pretty much so. I had a case where I was having a shower, and you usually shut your eyes. I don't know why we do it, but we shut our eyes when we're washing our hair. And someone blew in my ear in the shower. I said, get out. You're not allowed in here when I'm having a shower. But they blew in my ear. Yeah. So that is, they will be around because they know they can do it. But yeah, sometimes they're cheeky, but they can't do anything. Like, they're not going to rape you or anything like that. Hopefully, hopefully not. All right. So what else have we got in here?
Boundaries. Just because you have no skin or a meat suit, boundaries, please.
Oh, I've got that, Angel.
Yeah.
What else have we got? He moved something in my room, but I asked him to put it back. When I looked, it was back. Good.
Yeah.
And that was from Caroline.
Yeah. That's what we were saying, sort of around all a bloody time. I'll say all the time, not like a everyday occurrence, but yeah, lots of times. It's even weird when you see it with your own eyes. That makes you go weird, like you cross your eyes, like, oh my god. Did I just see that? Like I say, nothing like the films. Chairs not going to float in the air and flipping around. And not seen that yet.
You haven't had a poltergeist moment where they stack the chairs up neatly so you can mop on the floor?
Not yet. I'm ankly but not yet.
Well, that'd be helpful, wouldn't it? Because it'd save you having to lift them, and I look at that as helpful.
Yeah, definitely. It's a floor mopping I do. Why is there obsession with trash in the kitchen? I don't know what that's about, but
I know.
They never actually made themselves a cup of tea.
Well, at most, I've had utensils in the drawer shuffle and the drawer open a little, but not to the point of having things thrown, spinning around, or shadows missing and shoelaces missing.
Bloody shoelaces.
If those shoelaces go missing, I'm asking questions.
I gotta go now, but it's been fun.
All right, well, thanks for joining eventually.
Yeah.
And
Doctor.
and yes, Ryan, if you get to watch this,
shaking my fist at you. You set an alarm. You must have left for your alarm.
no, it's all right. You can just catch up later. I think he just likes the idea that he's being introduced, but he's not having to be here.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's like, you know, getting the attention, but not having to be here. So way to go.
Businessman. Market.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go so you can do your main cleaning. And I'm just going to answer a couple of questions that are here from a few people, and then I'm going to chuff off too, because it's 11:54 and I'm about to turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, right. We don't do we? All right, fellas. Catch you later. See you next time.
All right. Bye.
I'm going to that cemetery tomorrow if the weather's right. So expect an upload Saturday night, Sunday morning. Aren't you lucky? See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll be watching. Okay, so going over to the, where are we? There was a message here. 12 years, okay. All right. Yeah, well, they'll still visit. They will. Yeah, or your child sliding around, definitely. And a slave on, you know, having to buy some playground equipment. You just sit your kid on the floor and let them go getting burn marks on their bottom. All right, so there was a question I saw. Who was it? I'm just looking. Okay, sane. Can you feel someone with me, Karen, or is this not the time to ask? Okay, let me tell you something. If any mediums out there say to you that there's someone around you and they are not tuned into you or anything like that, and that you just get on a random stream and then ask them and they say, yes, there is, call them BS, because seriously, unless that person has tuned into you or they're reading for you and they hear a spirit saying that they are with you, say, for example, over a phone call or that type of thing, then you know someone's around you. The thing that you'll need to do is ask yourself, what kind of feelings are you having? Are you feeling like someone's touching you? Do you feel like someone's watching you? If you answer yes to either of those, chances are there is someone around you. But I can't personally feel anyone around you because I'm not with you and I'm not there and I'm not hearing your voice to be able to hear if there's anyone talking around you in spirit. So this is where there's so much misconception out there with mediums and so on. I mean, it's a really basic profession, to be honest with you. All these people that, you know, are giving you all this crap about, oh, yes, you've got a spirit around you or you've got a curse on you and stuff like that. Take them with a grain of salt, because this is why I won't join places. I had a couple of emails come through from Facebook or whatever from I'll tell you the name of the place that sent me this message. Hang on. Bear with me for a second. They are with Oranum.com psychic readings, and they wrote to me saying, I won't say their name in case I embarrass them. We're continuously looking for talented psychics like you are. I would like to offer you a great opportunity to give private readings worldwide. doing it already. We have more than 1 million sessions per month. The earnings of our top psychics is at least $10,000 in 2 weeks. What does that tell you? No, I won't. I won't do it because I am tired of the amount of crap that people are being told out there. You've got people that are just clearly textbook. I try to do the best I can with each of my sessions. Of course, you can't always be 100%. This is reality. You can't always be 100%. You're not always going to have a spirit present to tell you that they are related to the person or that they are connected with them in any way. If they're not there, they're not there. You can't say, yeah, there's someone here for you. You can't do that. And there are so many that do that, and just it really irks me. But I encourage people to do a little bit of their own common sense. If you feel something, you can get a lot of different types of sensations with spirit. You can have feelings like something is touching you, and it's almost like you might feel like a feathery kind of touch. You might have a feeling of something brushing past you. You might notice things when you're talking or thinking of a loved one, and you're talking to them either in your mind or out loud in your own private space, and you see something flicker, like the light seems to flicker, or you might have the candle flicker. First of all, you've got to do a rule of elimination. You've got to say, is there any electrical faults? Do a process of elimination. Ask yourself logically, can I dismiss this or debunk it in any way? And if you can't, I mean, it's always good to have a reasoning mind. If you can't debunk it, then chances are you've got that spirit around you. But if you are continually saying, no, this is either another bad spirit mimicking that one, your loved ones after a while might feel, well, what is the point in me even making contact? Because they might think it's someone else, and I don't want them to think that way. So they will be protective of you. And what I've come to find is that loved ones, even if you've had like a misunderstanding or a falling out, that has occurred in this life, it's like they have an epiphany moment where it's, all of that really didn't matter. It's like, I've had spirits say to me, I can't believe I wasted so many years being angry over a trivial situation within the family that it really doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't coexist with me where I am. And yet they're still hanging on to that bitterness, and I'm seeing what it's doing to them, and I'm seeing them going down the same path. So you've got to ask yourself, okay, what has made me think suddenly about someone? And if there's no logical explanation, chances are they're with you. And usually we tune in, and on a subconscious level or unconscious level, it's like being on autopilot. And how many, just out of interest, how many in the chat room have actually heard their name? Like you could be doing something, your mind's preoccupied with things going on, and you might hear what sounds like your name being called. And you're welcome, Sane. It's really important. Don't take the word of someone who's not around you to be able to tell you that there's someone with you, unless they've got some kind of connection with you. Either that spirit will be with them, telling them that they are visiting you or they're around you, or if you're talking with them over the phone and they talk through the phone to the person reading you, then they will be able to tell you. Or if you're seeing a person and they sense the spirit around you. But be careful. There's also ones out there that I've been told, and I know I don't want to turn this into drama kind of thing. But I think it needs to be said, there are some psychics out there or mediums who they say, okay, if you want me to connect with this person, you're going to have to pay an extra $50 or an extra $120 or whatever the case is. And if a person says, you can book a medium session with me, purely mediumship, call it BS, because there are spirits that often do not want to talk with you. I've had ones that have been around, but they don't want to communicate. So there's nothing that I can give that person unless they communicate with me. I can tell them that there is someone around and describe them to the person. But as far as it goes of passing on a message, if there's no message to pass on, I can't do it. So imagine those people that go to a medium and they say, okay, I want to contact my deceased son. You know, if you're telling them first and foremost who you're wanting to contact before that session begins, or you're telling someone around them who you want to contact before that session begins, be wary, because they could easily go back and say, oh, well, they want to contact so-and-so. You've seen these live events where the medium's up on the platform giving these readings and they've got an earpiece in. Have you ever wondered why the earpiece is in? It's not like a microphone connection or anything, and it's not to tell them, okay, well, you've got to wind it up now. That earpiece is always on. And the majority that have actually heard, you know, the people talking, and then all of a sudden they're saying things that are being repeated. It's been so many cases of, you know, mediums that have been called out, and they're the ones that make our job harder for the people who genuinely do speak to spirit. I've had people say, oh, you cold read, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is cold reading because, you know, you don't know anything about the person. You go in knowing nothing. That's cold. If you are a warm reader, you've already got an idea of who they want to contact. So I take it as a compliment to be called a cold reader. So the other thing is to, if you go to a live event and you're seeing a medium, you might have little, some of those little, what they call moles in the audience, and they might be saying to you, oh, who are you trying to contact today, or who are you hoping to hear from? Be wary of them. Give them some line of something else, something completely different. And mark my words, if those people are being divulged this information, chances are you're going to be chosen by that medium, but they're going to spin you the same story you told that person. And it does happen. That's why I will never go and do these things. I mean, I've been asked to do them, but you can't go in there saying that every single person is going to be able to hear from a loved one. And I'm a bit wary about doing that anyway. One, I probably get stage fright, but I've done it before. But it's been that long since, you know, between things that you're sort of a bit wary of going back out there. And there's so many people that's made it into a joke that you're instantly persecuted before you've even said anything. People are already summing you up and you know, calling you this and calling you that, even if they've never had a reading or anything by you. So I work on principle. And another thing too, and I'm going to put this out, anyone who says, okay, if you go and have a reading with them and you ring up, say, a month later and say, oh, hey, do you have any spaces available? Can I come back and see you? I saw you last month. If they accept you, you dismiss them completely, because the best timing that I have found, and this is over years of experience, the best timing is 3 to 6 months gap between readings, because what I've discovered is each reading continues where the last one left off. I can almost pinpoint when people have had a previous reading by someone else. It's just that feeling. I feel like there's a wall going up that I am unable to get anything that makes sense whatsoever. And I'm confused about it. I mean, there are times where if the reading is really confusing to me, it's making sense to the client. But I just get this funny feeling. It's like, I'm giving a timing, but I feel like I should be making that time as for next year, not say June this year. It's June next year for some reason. And then I will say, just to, clarify, when was your last reading? And I had a case where one woman came in to see me when I had the office, and she said she wanted a reading. She sat down, and I felt like none of this is making sense. I feel like I can't even give you a timing, because if I give you a timing, it's going to be wrong. And I said, when was your last reading? She said, oh, I just had one, but they were no good. And I said, I just can't read for you. And she said, why aren't you any good? And I said, it's not that. You're asking me to undo everything that person has told you that you felt was incorrect, and then give you a new timing on events that are coming. And I can't do that. It'll drain the buggery out of me, especially if you're only booking a 30-minute session. So, and it wasn't like a ploy to get her to pay for an extra 30 minutes or anything like that. I just said, look, you go away, you come back and see me in about 3 to 6 months. I mean, if I was money hungry, I could have said, yeah, no worries, come in, give me your money. But it's on principle. And that's why the majority of people get back with 5-star reviews for me, because of the fact that I don't have anyone accept them. Even if the staff we put up on the page, if you have had a reading within the last 3 months, do not book at all. Wait. And that is for even if you read for yourself. There are so many people who will pick up a deck of cards and they'll read for themselves asking a question. And don't tell me it doesn't happen, because people do it. They will read for themselves asking a specific question. It could be a matter of the heart, love, life. And so they'll do the reading and they don't get the answer they want to hear. So then they'll ask again, and then they'll lay out the cards, and they might get very similar cards turn up, because it's giving a continuation. That path is still in effect. So eventually they will get the answer they're seeking, because of the fact that that's continuing from where the last one left off. Now, if they've done like half a dozen readings asking the same question, and eventually they finally get someone who's going to tell them what they want to hear, they then get upset because the timing's completely off. And they say, well, you were wrong because you told me this would happen in a week or in 2 weeks' time, and it hasn't happened. And then you say, okay, how many readings did you have before you had that one with me? Oh, well, I had about, 4 or 5 different people tell me, no, and you told me yes, and I agreed with you because I felt yes, because that's what they want to hear. And so, you said that, so I had my hopes up that it was going to happen, and it didn't happen. And you're like, okay, so you completely ignored the fact that you should have 3 months gap, and you still went ahead with it. You still went ahead with it, even though you knew the reason why you should have 3 months. So it's really important. I can't stress enough, and I want to get this out there to so many people. If you are having a reading and you don't get the answer you want to hear, don't shove it off as that person being no good. I would rather tell the person what they don't want to hear and be right than lie to them and have my credibility tarnished. So if a person says to you, no, I don't see you being together with this person, there is a reason for it. The path that you have in place, the events that are unfolding, that you are creating for yourself and that person is creating, may be what's causing this to happen. So if you get a no, think about, instead of looking for another reader, think about what you can do to change your path. I look at it like it's a pillow you put down where you know you're going to fall. So it's really important. Don't jump out and look for another reader. If you've been to someone else, don't come to me saying, Karen, can you tell me what will happen? I trust your word over theirs. No, don't come to me. Use your common sense and say, I want to know what is going to happen. Okay, you don't get what you want to hear. You've got to look at the other aspects around it. That other person might be doing things that are really going against the grain of a relationship. They might not want to change their ways. They might be on a destructive path. And then you might be wanting to change your ways, but you can't because you're still trying to keep up with them. And it's like you're going to have so many, you know, that I know people are going to listen to this and say, no, Karen, I don't want to do that. I need someone to tell me yes. And if you get a no, don't look at it as the begin and end all. Look at it as a chance to change something in your path, because we all have control over our destiny to a degree. But also keep in mind, sometimes we have things beyond our control. You might suddenly have this experience where, whoa, you might, my dog, you might have this experience where there's this, everything going right. And you think, this is like heaven. Everything's perfect in my life. My relationship hasn't been better. It's flowing beautifully. And then all of a sudden, things go belly up. And before you jump out there and ask a reader, what happened? Why did this, you know, you've got to think ahead of this situation. This is where I say, use your own psychic ability. Everyone has it. Start asking, what do my angels want to prevent happening for me? And a lot of times they will step in and they will get you. It's like say you're on a train track and at the end of that line, the train track isn't finished, and your angels are going to swoop down and they're going to take you off that train track because they know it's going to be devastation at the end of that line. It's just a clear drop into a precipice. So they're going to take you off that track and they're going to put you on gravel, and that train's still moving. So you're feeling all the bumps along the road, like type of thing. And it's like everything is just going all over the place. Everything's being thrown. Emotions are getting tossed about, like you are that train on gravel. But had you stayed on that path that you felt was smooth and perfect, and you didn't have this destruction which took you out of that, you might have ended up a lot worse. And that's why some things are a blessing in disguise. Think of them as bittersweet blessings. If you have a partner who you think the world of, and then all of a sudden they're doing the dirty on you and they're cheating behind your back, making you look like a fool, and you see these signs and you've got these warnings, but you choose to ignore it, deal with it. If you do not see the angel's message of, okay, we're trying to get you out. And by angels, I'm referring to a lot of times our loved ones on the other side. They will try to remove you from a bad situation by opening your eyes to things that you were blind about. And you begin to then see the real characteristics of this person. They might suddenly look at you in a surly way, or a look of disgust is on their face, which normally you never saw before because you were blind. You had those blinkers on, if you want. You only saw what was ahead of you. You didn't see off to the sides. And that's when the angels will take the blinkers off and let you see things for what they really are, their true colors. So you're going to have a lot of things happen in life that are going to be a lot of intervention and also your own psychic, guidance. But I really think there's too many people out there, and I mean, I shouldn't be saying this as a medium, but there are too many people out there who rely on mediums. They rely on them to give them the answers to everything. And a lot of the time, the answer's within you. It's just a matter of opening your eyes and seeing things for what they really are. A lot of it's really common sense. With spirit, they communicate and they talk about things that are happening in that person's life. I mean, as I mentioned, that Robert, that time that said that, you know, his wife always whinged about the plant or the bush beside the steps in the backyard. But had he not had that plant there, it wouldn't have broken her fall. And so he was having like a bit of an ego trip on the other side here, but it was how he communicated with her and little things like that. So, I mean, she should have realized then, you know, that had it not been for him putting that plant there, she might have broke her hip, she might have broke her back, she might have really injured herself, because she's not a young woman, she was an old woman. So we've got here saying, but I don't think I have guides or angels. Well, everyone does. You will be surprised. I mean, see, a lot of people think they're going to see these angels flutter down with their big wings and everything and stand beside you and appear to you, and your guides are going to be absolutely manifest and visible. A lot of times they won't. They won't do that. They will help you in ways that, you know, it's sort of like a parent. Kids want to touch the hot plate, but the parent will pull the hand away or make something happen which prevents you from getting what you want. But they will only give you what you need. And that's the real spirit path. We have that, and we fight it all the time, every day. We fight against, you know, we want this. We really wanted that car. We really wanted to win lotto. You know, and we feel ripped off, and it's like everything's against us no matter what. And no, someone up there hates me because I'm having bad luck. I'm not getting what I want. But you've got to ask yourself, what have you got that you need? And that's what a lot of people miss. They're so focused on material satisfaction that they forget what is it we need in our life. So let's have a look what else we've got in here. Where are we? 773 Sky Star. Maybe people just need to know it's not a fallacy in their own head. Have I missed something? All right, so we've got everyone has a guide saying just need to learn to connect with them, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Oh, damn, definitely have a guide, whether it's an angel, a loved one, or just someone like Karen's Chris. Chris is amazing, honestly. The timing, things happen for a reason. Have you ever had... I'm trying to use an example that many people might have had. With Chris, I can't speak highly enough of him. He had been my saviour. When my other half was cheating on me, he was there. He kept giving me these warnings, and that's what I'm talking about, removing the blinkers. When my other half went away and Chris first introduced himself to me, and he's saying, "Hi, I'm Chris. I really love you." I didn't open my eyes because I thought, I don't know a Chris, and I'm not going to encourage someone who is saying they love me, because it was very confronting. I knew if I opened my eyes, he would be this close to my face physically. So I kept my eyes shut, but there was this incredible white light, and it was so bright I could see it through my eyelids. My fillings in my teeth were vibrating because of the energy that was coming off him. And he had this incredible aura about him. And it was there even the day after. I just went straight off to sleep. I must have been exhausted. And I told my daughter about, you know, my middle daughter, I said, last night I had an incredible visitation. And she said to me, because I actually had some painkillers for something, and she said, "Did you have painkillers?" I said, "Yeah, maybe, you know, maybe it might have been the effects of that, because I don't put everything down to spirit. This is something people sort of like are a bit taken back with me. I do see that there is room for logic, and there's also things that happen, they just happen, but not everything is spirit. And you've got to just know when spirit is interfering with things and when they're not. And it's a matter of just being realistic, down to earth as well. Anyway, I felt him around me, and I grabbed my iPhone and I said, if this is the same Chris from last night, talk into this iPhone and say what you said last night, just so that I know that I'm not imagining this. And loud and clear and strong was this male voice: Karen, I really love you. And if you haven't seen the video, just go to my video list on the channel, and there's like a little search icon, like a little microscope thing. Click on that and then type in I really love you, and that will show you the video in my playlist where you can hear Chris talking, and that's the actual recording that I had when I said, is this you? And so I wasn't imagining it. And after that, he kept telling me, you've got to get rid of your husband. He's playing up on you. And I ignored it. I thought, no, this is not good. This is, and I was a bit wary. I'm thinking, what kind of spirit would say that to a person? Get rid of them. They're no good. Why would they want, to break up a family? And then one night, he came in, my other half, and he lay beside me, and it was incredible. It sounded like a freight train was running through the walls and across the ceiling, and the whole room was, and the windows, really, really loud. I thought, bloody hell. And my other half said, what the hell's that? So he gets up. As soon as he stepped outside that room, everything stopped. And it was the instant his feet stepped out of the room, through the door and into the hall, everything stopped. It went quiet. And I then turned and I said, Chris, is this you? And he said, you didn't want to sleep with him anyway. And I went, okay. I started thinking, what the hell's going on? At one point, I felt really controlled by this spirit, thinking, is he a negative one? And I questioned it. Then my mother visited me and said to me, you've got to get rid of him. Not Chris, but my other half. He's having an affair. I went, he wouldn't do that. He's against that. He was very anti, he would always have a really big opinion of people who did that. So it was really hard to accept. And anyway, this particular day, I get back from work and Chris says to me, ask to have a look at his iPhone. And I said no. And he said, go on, right now, go out and ask to look at his phone. So I came out and I said, can I just have a look at your phone for a minute? And he got all hostile, my other half. What do you want that for? What do you want to look at it? I'm not doing anything. And the defenses went up. And I said, I just want to have a look at your phone. And if there was nothing going on, you wouldn't react that way. But anyway, I thought, this is just so bizarre. Then my daughter ran to his laptop because he was up and he was in my face. What do you want my phone for? No, you're not looking at it. Really aggressive. And she saw him chatting on Facebook to this woman saying, talk to me here, sweetie. And my heart broke. It absolutely broke. And I threw him out. I threw him to the curb, just as they said, as my mother said, as Chris said, get rid of him. And it was liberating, to be honest with you. But Chris has been very, direct with things. He's around me all the time, protecting me, watching over us. He is like just a protection, and there's nothing intimate, and that's the beauty of it. He's never forced himself or anything like that. He's very guarded, very protected. So, okay. Who's talking around me? Can you hear? Chris, is this you? No. I heard you. I think they would have heard you too. So Chris is here. So you might have heard him say no. It is really, I can't describe it. I mean, the amount of support that a spirit can give, and a spirit that I never knew in this life, being around and at the perfect timing. His timing was impeccable. He came in at a time that was really, I can't even put it into words. I'm sitting here trying to find logic out of it, trying to sort of look at it from everyone else's perspective. It would be quite easily to dismiss as, pareidolia, a person with a very vivid imagination, that type of thing. But I've got a lot of activity around me. I'm surprised that you haven't seen like sparks behind me or that type of thing, because they usually begin to, you could be like in pitch black and see this spark of light with your eyes, with your own physical eyes. It's beautiful. I don't know whether you saw the lights that appeared in the dark room of the active room one day there, and I actually put the video up, and no car went by, but he said no. So yeah, I asked if it was him, and he said no. But that's his character. He's very sarcastic too at times. There was one time, what was it? I asked him about Huff, and oh no, hang on, what was it? Was it Huff? Oh, he's very opinionated, but he does interact. And there was one time I pointed to something on the screen. I said, what do you think of this? And he laughed. It was a belly laugh. And I actually recorded it and put it up on the Truth Seekers page. I said, look at this, check this out. This is a belly laugh from Spirit. And it was beautiful. But every time I pointed to it, he just burst out laughing. I think it was Huff. I think I was pointing to his head or something. But I can't remember. It was either it was a meme or some kind of thing, but it was quite funny. Yeah, they are. They're really good. And I believe that everyone, if you are not scared of spirit, I mean, the important thing is don't fear them. Know that when you're doing a spirit box session as well, you're going to have spirits that are going to be not so much in the environment, but also outside the environment connecting with you. That's how spirit boxes work. But also, you've got to dismiss some of that pareidolia that comes through, because it is sweeping across radio stations. It's sweeping across channels where there's talkback, where there's, introduction from DJs and that type of thing. They might say, they might be playing a song from someone who's now passed over, and they'll say he died. And that clip of died will be what you hear. So it may come across like, I died, but it's chopping. It's okay. Keep the camera still. I don't know whether a camera moved. I just saw it move. Don't touch the camera, please. I can't afford another one. They're too expensive. So yeah, the camera moved. I don't know whether anyone saw it. Anyway, what else have we got here? Maybe that's the key, just getting the right concentration, so your mind doesn't focus on anything but what you're supposed to be doing. I really think it's important to keep a level head at all times. what have we got? What is your advice, Karen, on helping a child that has gifts for calming down her dreams? Okay, well, I really think it's important to talk to your children about these things. Don't hush it up. Don't treat it like it's something bad or taboo. Give them an opportunity to make logic out of things. If they're having dreams and they're getting scared, ask them, what they can associate that dream with. Maybe there's something that, they don't like school, or there's a teacher at school that they might not get along with, or a child at school that's bullying them, and it's coming out in different ways. You've got to first do a process of elimination. Like my daughter that day when she came in and she said, there's a spirit in my room, can you get the spirit box? And I was like, spirit box? You don't ask for that. She said, they want to talk and I'm not hearing them very well because I'm hearing, and that's the way she said it. She said, and it's like the voices was from this side and that side, and then in front of me and behind me and all around me, but it was the same voice. I said, okay. So we put it in there and we actually got a child very clearly communicating with her. But she, first of all, before coming to speak to me, she said that she started thinking, could it be someone outside? And then she said no, because the window was shut and there was no one in the street, and her room is at the back. So there was no chance of anyone being under her window or anything like that, given there's no way they can get over our big fences and all. And she said, so there was no one there and the window was closed. And then she said, and I knew it wasn't my sister and I knew it wasn't you, because it was in my room. It was around me in my room. So this is a 9-year-old who was able to do a process of elimination. And it's really important to communicate with them and not give them any fear of talking about it. Explain to them, though, that they're, if they want to talk about it, talk to you about it, but don't tell Joe Blow or your teachers or that kind of thing, because they're going to probably start thinking, what the hell's going on in this kid's home? But it's really important to, I'm seeing a few things here. It is really important to talk to them about their dreams, probably allow them to express, some of the things. What were the main things they could remember from the dream? Because dream analysis can also be helpful. It can be a way of them expressing their own intuitive connection. Some kids may have visions of certain things that come through as a dream, and they get scared because there may be something that from that dream has another type of connection. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, my grandfather, and I speak only in, as an example for the circumstances. So if you're listening, I don't want you to feel like I'm putting you down in any way, because I know that you've changed. My grandfather used to be quite abusive towards my grandmother. And as a child, I remember having a very vivid dream of this big dark monster chasing me through the home. And at that time, I lived with my grandparents. And I realized, and I had no one to really turn to and talk about this, because no one else in my home had these visions that I saw. No one else saw or heard spirit like I heard them, except for one of my uncles who was, visited and created a game, which he, long story, but he was the only one outside of everyone else. Oh, hang on, and I think, yeah, Mum had a situation when I was born, because she wasn't going to keep me. She was actually going to give me up for adoption. So after I was born, they quickly took me off to another wing, and they had these papers in front of her to sign, to give me up for adoption. And back then it was taboo for a woman to be single and, you know, have a baby. People that she knew used to cross the road ahead of her to avoid walking on the same footpath. That's how it was. But this particular dream that I had, going back to that, I realized the association was the fear that I had every time there was a fight going on between my grandparents. And I would see my grandfather as being symbolic as this monster. So that is really, you know, like where you need to sort of do a process of elimination. Maybe there's something in the dream that is associating with something going on in their life. And, you know, I mean, if you went to a child psychologist, they'd probably do that anyway. They'd ask them, okay, are you having any trouble at school? Are you having trouble with homework? Do you like homework? Who likes homework? Do you have any problems with your family? Are you seeing or witnessing any fights or arguments going on? That type of thing. So that will be where, you know, kids might have bad dreams. But if they're dreaming of spirits and they know, it's here we've got her dreams are dreams that are very graphic, dreams of my passing by her father's hands, too detailed for, hang on, everyone stop typing for a second. Too detailed for a child her age. We do not watch TV or anything scary. Okay, well, think of it this way. Most kids often, you know, think about how they would feel if they didn't have their mother. I've actually known kids to cry because they're thinking of how they would feel if their mother was gone. Or their father was gone, or that type of thing. I don't feel it's anything really bad, but if she's actually or having these dreams of, you know, you dying at the hands of your husband, you might have to actually have a look into why she would be connecting that type of thing. If she's too young, it's going to be, you know, probably better expressed by drawing her dream, get her to draw it, or, you know, but I wouldn't go talking about or bringing it up. I would allow her to talk about it and bring it up to you. But if you say, oh, remember you were telling me about that dream, blah, 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 by revisiting, you may be emphasizing it. You might be encouraging that dream. And even, you know, I mean, kids do have very vivid imaginations. I mean, with no disrespect at all, but kids, if they get attention on something, they can go with it. You know, it's like, I'm going to run with this because I'm getting attention, good or bad attention. I'm going to go and make up drama and make up, you know, they've got fantastic imaginations. But if you're not watching any TV or stuff like that, they might be connecting a simple mucking around that you might be saying, oh, you know, say for example, your husband is pretending like, I'm gonna kill you, you know, making some game or something, or she's hearing subconsciously as she sleeps noises from the other room, if you know what I mean. She might be connecting that as being you're being hurt. So you've got to do that process of elimination. I wouldn't go jumping straight into, you know, the fact that there's something evil or sinister going on. But hopefully that gives you something to sort of like go with and see how it is. But yeah, with kids, I mean, they're going to associate a lot of their dreams with things in their own life in some way. And we do have a lot of subconscious things that we absorb. You know, think of, okay, what are your neighbors like? Are they rowdy? Maybe she's hearing that noise and, you know, she might be having a dream of you, and then all of a sudden there's a crossing of the dream where she's hearing angry voices or stuff like that, and then being shown these things. It could also be a case of a past life. She may have been, you know, from a family where her mother was strangled by the father, or she may be the person who had that. Who knows? Anything's possible, but I wouldn't bring it up. I would allow them to come to you and talk about it. So hopefully that helps. All right, let us see what else we have here. My girls told me they have done this too. It's normal to think about it, have nightmares, detailed dreams. Have you ever had the dreams where you're like in one dream and then you chop into something else? It's like you're going from one dream into another. I like those dreams. But let's see what else there is, just in case I miss something. Yeah. Oh, Scott's on. Hello. Maybe past life feeling. Yep, there you go. So there's also been mentioned by those in the stream. And I really, even with TV, I agree. It's not worth watching these days. There's so much negativity. You get enough of that on the internet anyway. Even in cartoons, they can be quite violent. But I don't see the need. We've got a TV. I don't even turn it on. The only time, or the last time it was on, I think they were watching. Hang on, what was the name of the movie? Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. So we were watching that, and that's the only reason that the TV will be used, is watching a DVD or something. Okay, so if the dream, has this dream still been happening through the 4 years? Hang on, where are we? My eldest daughter had a bad dream about people hanging in the woods behind our house. Okay. Again, it could be, do a process of elimination. Make sure they're not watching any movies that are scary. Another thing too is be careful of sweets after a certain hour of a night, because I have noticed, even with myself, my dreams get really weird and wacky. Yeah, I can imagine what you're thinking. My dreams get really weird if I have something sweet before going to bed. It's really important to be careful about what you're having, because it can affect your sugar balance in your blood, that type of thing. It can do different types of things to you. He was a mean person, only to me, always hidden from the. Have I missed something here? Okay, so we're still talking about that little one having the dream, but now there's a little bit more detail coming out through this, that I'm lost here now. Well, Michelle Wood says that she brought a dream catcher, must be for a child, and not sure if they really work, but it helped her. If you have something that's symbolic that they can use to focus on, and have that as a way of calming them down, they go less anxious into their sleep. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with them. I don't know, to be honest, whether they do work. I had one in with my girl's room, but she still had visitations. The thing that I found was really good. I used to make my own incense oils, and I would burn them probably about an hour before the girls went to sleep, and that actually relaxed the room. It relaxed, the whole area, and it helped them with a better sleep and, a more positive type of mind frame when they woke up. So whatever works, if it's helping, then good. Just look at it in a positive way. Don't look at it as being negative or anything like that. And as I said, if she brings it up, then and then only discuss it. But if she doesn't talk about it, let it go. Because if you remind them, it's like, you know, they're triggering things, and it's like, you know, the rolling stone gathering moss, or, you know, what is it, like a tumbleweed, you know, it's going to collect a lot of different things. So suggestions on the best scent to use in the daughter's room, I would actually recommend lavender, and have that with probably a little bit of lemongrass. That gives a nice citrusy smell. Neroli is really lovely if you get neroli, and just burn, you know, a little bit of that. Make sure that, you know, it's up high, they can't get to it, and or put it in a place where, you know, I mean, kids love to blow out little candles. So if you are there supervising them and they say, okay, it's time for bed, they can blow out the candle, and then you can take that out of the room, and the room's already got a nice smell, and it's very relaxing and soothing. Even if you give them like a cup of tea with no sugar, you know, that can be relaxing as well. Another thing too is you could even put a crystal in their room. If they, I mean, crystals are really positive stones and everything. Amethyst is really good. Moonstone's really good. Rose quartz. These types of things can also sort of like bring a different type of energy to the atmosphere. It gives them something to focus on. And I remember with my daughter, I actually got her a little rose quartz, a little thumb one, and she was actually holding it one day, and I said, what do you want most? And she said, I want to be, was it? I want to be a flycatcher. She wanted to catch flies. Okay. And she had like quick reflexes. She could get, you know, those little 20-cent machine things where you've got like that little round thing that you pull open, and you've got like a little prize inside of it, like a ring or something. Well, she would get that little thing and she would catch a fly inside one. And this was like her reflexes, but she wanted to be a fly catcher. Fortunately, she's past that and she wants to do teaching now. So yeah, she's no longer a fly catcher. But that was what she wanted. And she focused on different things in her life. I mean, it really depends on the individual. If you've got a child that is not interested in anything, you're not going to change them. You're not going to, you know, you're not going to make any impact or difference of introducing something that you don't feel comfortable with anyway. If you're using it, you know, then it's got a better chance of them using it as well. I like to have incense sticks burnt. You know, incense have actually taken over candles to a degree. I make my own candles anyway, so, you know, I've got all different oils and stuff like that, and all different aroma. But I would probably burn some lavender. Someone said in there chamomile. I'd probably use the chamomile tea, if anything. But, you know, or you could have warm milk, something that's, you know, calming. My daughter at the moment, what has been helping her sleep, because I've got one who's a very restless sleeper, she has been listening to ASMR, and she's even started to make ASMR, you know, like record, and she'll be sitting there with the headphones on, and she's up at the mic and she's crinkling paper really slowly, and then she's, you know, rubbing a hand over the front of the what's it called, the pop filter, and all these types of things. And it's great because she's actually relaxing at the same time, and she's a bit of a hyper kid. So yeah, that's something you probably try too, ASMR. Just pop headphones on them if they've got an iPad, and most kids do these days. Go to a YouTube channel like you know, I.T.C ASMR, and just listen with them, or even I love the ASMR. I love it. I've even started doing it. I used to sell the candles when I had the offers. So I'd have them there, and I'd have like opium, poison, like the perfumes, and then I would have ones where I'd do a mixture. One smelly one was called monkey fart. And had like a fruity smell to it. Rose is nice with the lavender. I make that, and it's like the old English tea rose, which is a real strong fragrance. But I do. I don't sell them anymore though. But it's yeah, it's fun. It's fun to make candles. So easy too. What else have we got in here? It is a noble profession being a fly catcher, but it was ply. She was a ply catcher. Get it right. Okay. Right. It's a really eye-opening show. If I might help with some questions you might have. Perfect person to ask. Oh, thank you. I don't know. It's just all common sense as far as I'm concerned. But if I can help anyone, that's what I'm here for. So with that said, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning where I am. It's for 6 minutes to 1. So I guess I might have to close the show off and wish you all a beautiful day, night, morning, wherever you are. And thank you for joining. And if you do have any questions about the I.T.C, feel free to ask. I'll try and cover all aspects of it as much as I can over time, depending on time availability, of course. But it's really important not to just go with every single image. Suss it out and ask, like Riley said, ask people, what do you see? And then if they say they see what you see, then you've got a bit of an idea that there's maybe something paranormal there. But don't rush into everything and say it's, it is spirit, because not every single thing is spirit. A good part of our life is, we're all spirit anyway, but not everything is spirit. You've got to take responsibility for some things that are happening in your own life. You might be making things in your path that you can change. But if you're on that track that's leading nowhere, your angels might take you off it. You might not like it, but it might have been worse if you stayed on it. So on that closing note, I wish you all a good night. And I'm about to go wash off this face and get in my pajamas and go shushy-bye. So I think the dog needs to go to Wool. Hopefully. He hasn't done it in the house. Yeah. So thank you so much. We've still got like 14 people on watching, so that's impressive. And thank you for the thumbs down. It's always one. Okay, how many can thumbs down? That'll be an experiment. What does it matter? Anyway, have a great day. I'm out of here. See you later.